Thanks for tuning in to the Boiling Water Canning Method module. I am Megan Baumler, recording for Suzanne Dreesen, University of Minnesota Extension Food Safety Educator. Whether you are new to the boiling water canning method or have been using it for years, it's a good idea to review the process before each canning season to make sure that you aren't missing a step. You can safely use the boiling water canning process for food with an acidity level of 4.6 or below. Boiling water will destroy sensitive microbes like salmonella and any spoilage microbes like yeast and mold in these high acid foods such as fruit, pickles, and salsa. However, all low acid foods with a pH of 4.6 or above, like vegetables, meats, fish, and soups, must be pressure canned to destroy Clostridium botulinum spores, which can cause botulism. Your recipe will tell you which process is safest for the product that you are canning. To can food using the boiling water canning method, you will need canning jars, lids, and screw bands. Use mason-type jars designed for home canning. Your recipe will tell you what size of jar to use. You can reuse canning jars. Be sure to check for chips, cracks, and nicks. If you find any of these defects, don't use because the lids won't seal. Reusing commercial mayonnaise-type jars is not recommended as they may not seal. Use new, unused lids that have a manufacturer date of 5 years or less. Screw bands can be reused if not bent or rusted. Jars, lids, and bands come in regular or wide mouth sizes. You will also need a canner and rack. Most boiling water canners are made of aluminum or porcelain-covered steel. Any deep stock pot will work. It needs a tight-fitting cover and is deep enough for the water level to be 1 to 2 inches above the jars with an additional 1 to 2 inches of empty space to allow the water to boil without overflowing the canner. You will also need a rack to hold the jars or a flat rack. The jars will break if allowed to touch the bottom interior surface of the canner. Will you be using an electric, gas, or glass or flat top range for canning? To make sure that the water is evenly distributed and heated throughout the boiling water process, a stock pot or canner with a flat bottom must be used to ensure constant and direct heat throughout the process on electric ranges. If using a gas burner, you can use a flat or ridged bottom canner. If you have a glass or flat top range, check with the manufacturer to see if your range is designed to hold the weight or a filled canner for an extended amount of time. For all ranges, the canner should be no more than 4 inches wider in diameter than the element on which it is heated. Center your canner on the burner and take a ruler to measure that the canner is not extended over the edge of the burner by more than 2 inches on any side. The boiling water bath process can be broken down into 10 easy steps. Step 1 is to submerge clean empty jars in enough water to cover them in a large stock pot or boiling water canner. If you'll be filling the jars with raw food, which is called raw pack, heat the water to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. If filling the jars with hot food, which is called hot pack, heat the water to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Step 2. Remove the preheated jars from the canners. Fill the jars with the product. After the food and liquid are filled to the correct headspace, release trapped air by inserting a clean, thin plastic spatula or knife into the jar. Gently lift the produce to remove trapped air bubbles. Don't use metal, as you could scratch the glass, which could weaken it, causing it to break during processing. Readjust the headspace according to your recipe. Wipe the rim of the jars with a clean, damp cloth to remove any food or liquid residue and ensure a tight seal. Step 3. Place clean lids on the jars. Cover with a screw band and tighten just until you feel resistance. Do not over-tighten or the lid may bulge because it was too tight to release air. Step 4. Load the filled jars, fitted with lids and rings, onto the canner rack. If your rack has handles, use the handles to lower the rack into the water or fill the canner one jar at a time with a jar lifter so that you don't get burned. Hold the neck of the jar with the jar lifter and keep the jar upright while transferring to the canner. If you tilt the jar, food could spill into the sealing area of the lid and you may not get a secure seal. Step 5 is to add more hot water to cover the jars to 1 to 2 inches. If the process time is over 30 minutes, allow 2 inches above the jars as the water will evaporate during the boiling process. Step 6. Turn the heat on high, cover with a lid. Step 7. When the water returns to a rapid boil, set a timer for the minutes required for processing the food. Choose processing times for Minnesota altitudes of 1,001 to 2,000 feet. You can turn down the heat as long as you maintain a complete boil during the entire process time. If the water stops boiling, bring back to a boil and start the timing process over. Add more water if needed to keep the jars covered. When the jars have boiled for the recommended time, turn off the heat. Remove the lid and wait 5 minutes before removing jars. This is recommended to prevent jars from boiling over, which can affect the seal. Step 9. Use a jar lifter to remove the jars and place them on a towel or a padded surface. Leave at least 1 inch between the jars for cooling. Do not retighten the jar lids because you could break the seal. Cool for 12 to 24 hours. Step 10. After the jars have cooled, check the seal by pressing down on the lid with your finger. If you hear a click, it didn't seal. Refrigerate any unsealed jars. Remove the bands. To prevent mold from growing on the exterior of the jars during storage, thoroughly wipe the jars and rims with a damp cloth. Label jars with name of product and date. Store in a cool, dry place. What if a jar doesn't seal? You have 3 options. Option 1 is to reprocess in a clean jar with a new lid within 24 hours of original processing. Option 2 is to refrigerate and use within several days. Option 3 is to store in the freezer, but be sure to adjust the headspace by 1 to 2 inches as your product will expand as it freezes. For safety's sake and to eliminate food safety worries, use credible researched recipes and process times when using the boiling water canning method. Don't use food preservation books or recipes dated before 1994. These resources are outdated and may be unsafe. Use websites such as the National Center for Home Food Preservation or canning equipment companies like Ball or University Extension websites. If you have any questions about home food preservation, call our Extension answer line to talk with a live person who will answer not only food preservation questions but other household-related questions too. You can also email your question to answer@iastate.edu. Thank you for watching and enjoy your hobby.